Yeah, this lighting sucks. What did you do to it? Sabotage.
Do you want to switch
No, I
seats?
don't.
Because usually you sit here.
Let's see if it works. Waddle around while we wait for people to come. Hey, everybody who's late to the party watching this stream later.
I think it's because I just have hair and you got.
I think what it is you look holy. Oh, someone's watching. How about that? Hey, fellow person who's definitely not an FBI agent.
You see that? Now you got the ceiling. What is wrong with
Hey, I like my ceiling.
there?
You scared them away. Anyway, hey everybody. Welcome to the Grizzly Gaming
Get
stream.
myself a drink or something.
Yeah. This play around with that thing. You do that thing, wife. Anyway, we're gonna have a good stream tonight. We finally are streaming on the correct night. It only took me 2 months to finally start doing that. You know, as you do. Look, I take longer to recover from moves than the average person.
Halfway across the world, too, Daft Punk.
Now we're sharing the We Are Live, people. Yeah, just sneak in there. All right.
Did I tell you it was cold? Well, it's cold.
It's not cold. You're just cold-blooded. You're a lizard. Should go find a rock to rest on. She does that while sunbathing. It's kind of
Look, the sun's not out. I can't do that.
Yeah. We can do something about this. Okay, wait. What if we
Then you scoot your butt over there.
You scoot your butt over there. Here we go. We're sorted it out. Kind of. I feel like it's a little better. Anyway, I'm sure the internet.
Like, I don't want to sit by the couch. I feel weird.
Yeah, I don't. It tries to eat me.
It's because they're heavy.
You saying it likes fat guys? It's good to know. Anyway, welcome again to the stream, everybody. We're gonna have a good time talking about random stuff. We have updates and Foxhole and Marvel Rivals, and the board game industry is obsessed with slave labor, so they're dying now that they can't get to it. Hilarious. Love it. 100% on board.
Slave labor or...
Couldn't help it. Yeah, you go, Southerners. I did marry a Slav. She just gave the weird reaction.
So when you said you married a male ordered bride.
You better be careful how you say that. Male is an M-A-I-L. Male ordered. Think about that. Anyway, English is a weird language. But yeah, we're going to have a good time. We've had a very long day today. We're all over the place. The internet is probably trash right now. All of the boomers from here to Chernobyl are on their internet right now, and they're just soaking it up. They're soaking all of it up. But the snowbirds will not go north. I mean, most of them are. We've been getting much better internet connection, but for some reason today.
Why am I yawning so much?
It's like you just went for like a 3-hour round trip drive and like 4 hours there with 4 children under 5 years old. It's like it's an event. Went on a business trip to like the most beautiful lakes I've ever seen, Lake Havasu in Arizona. It's gorgeous. You should see the photos. It's great. One day, baby. One day we'll make it to the water again. Not stare at it.
If the Colorado River is the closest water source we can find, so be it.
This is funny because she was just praising the Colorado River the whole time she was driving beside it. Way to like if that's the one we have to deal with, well, so be it.
That oasis there was beautiful.
It was a beautiful oasis. You know who doesn't have an oasis right now?
You.
Way to depress a man. No, I was gonna say board game developer slave
child
drivers.
Laborers.
Yes, they have no oasis. Their slave children have been wrested away behind the tariff ban, and now they are sad in their dying plants, going, "Who will be enslaved to make our crappy board game parts now in our crappy board games that were made by the lowest common denominator but are very pretty? Who will? And the answer is no one.
Nobody
Ah.
but you.
Not me. You're not making me work for so little. Well, you kind of are, but in different ways. Not you. What does that look? I make you work for nothing, so. Well, I mean, I pay you in other ways. I was talking about food. What do you? That's what I bring her on for. She always thinks of the worst possible idea.
No, I kind of beautiful idea.
I'm gonna pretend she didn't say that on the interwebs. But as awkward as a segue as I was, I'm gonna roll with it. So, if you don't know, modern board games have been kind of degrading. The indie scene, as with most things, is amazing when it's not being overwhelmed by woke freaks. But all the big time board game stuff have been pushing more and more for like pretty little mini figures and really fancy boxes and stuff. And don't get me wrong, I like a fancy box.
A razor fist. Streaming.
Is he on my box? Dang it, Razor
He
Fist.
does live in
Let
Arizona.
the small guy get some work done. No.
He does live in Arizona.
You know what we should probably do is actually figure out when he streams and wait for him just to end streaming, then hop on. That's probably what we should do. Strategically, I might be up till 1 a.m., but if pro tip now, just a little trick. If you are streaming and some big YouTuber or whatever, or Twitch streamer is in a similar field to what you're doing, and you're just starting out, I don't know if you want to listen to the guy with less than 100 subscribers, but the concept of basically doing what the other guy isn't comes along the lines of like, if you're putting a restaurant down next to the best lunch, best lunch and dinner place in the world, what do? You don't compete with them. You make a breakfast joint. They don't do breakfast. You do breakfast. Right?
Sure.
Don't burp. No. She's like, food, burp. Anyway. So
I had In-N-Out, guys. Okay, it was great.
I should take my own advice and figure out right when guys like Razor Fist are about to end streaming on Friday and then start my stream. Because then you have a bunch of people, especially the latecomers, who still want to watch something, but he's not on anymore. So they're gonna, the algorithm's gonna find something similar to it and throw it in their face. You might be able to sneak in that way. I'll let you know if that ever works. But hey, till then, I'm a tired man with 4 children, and they dictate when I can stream, not the other way around.
I finally just now shared on Discord.
Whatever. Discord has been going gay and crazy anyway. How dare they? Gosh. It's annoying being in this time of age where these big companies are creating these wonderful windows for entrepreneurs and realizing you don't have any of the skills or programming abilities or connections to make the counter to the things they're destroying. And it sucks. Like Discord. Discord is screwing with everybody.
There's Discord in the Discord.
It's not quite time yet, right? People aren't ready to jump off quite yet, but they're getting close. Few more mishaps, few more of these little things pissing them off, and people are going to look for an alternative really fast. I have no ability to make any kind of development to do it. But hey, we can do this with board games now that they don't have their slave labor. See,
it's called 3D printing.
3D printing, it's a thing. Now, and you have a lot of snobs that go pinky up and like, it's not the same, it's not as good. First of all, there are 3D printers that actually are pretty darn good. You don't always want to go with the cheapest of the cheap. Just like going with the cheapest of the cheap slave labor often produces crappy results.
Yeah,
you would know
in a strip club and thinking that people are pretty there when they're all ugly.
Wife made a cheap stripper joke, so we're just gonna keep. I'll make you a little cheap minifigure stripper. It'll be fun.
No, thank you. Better be Marvel Rivals.
Well, you're jumping ahead too fast. We're only 10 minutes in.
It just flows right out.
Just like diarrhea. And it's not quite a flow. It's more of an explosion, to be fair.
It's more like a flush. Gosh.
You know, I didn't think we would go down that route. I don't.
You went down there.
And anyway, you wouldn't know about diarrhea, would you, Hasbro? Like all your slaves? I don't know where I was going with
Mexican
that.
laxatives.
Anyway,
Talk about
I'm pretty sure these are Asian slaves. Let's not be racist. Okay. Well, Montezuma's revenge aside, yes, no. How did I forgot what your segue was? That confused me. We're gonna bring Marvel Rivals
We were
up later.
talking about
We're
3D
supposed to win.
printing.
And
and
you wanted me to
about
3D
going-
print a Marvel stripper Emma Storm or Snow? What was it?
Emma Snow. No.
I combined two characters.
How'd you do that?
Light segue, and spoilers, we're going to be talking about Marvel Rivals after this because they just announced their new season. Hey.
And you just told them what was the next.
I mean, it's not like it wasn't announced. Spoiler alert.
Something got announced.
Pretty sure there's been like 5,000 other YouTube channels that have already jumped on that train. You ain't here for that. First come, first serve business. But but they are all Chinese related after all. So
we're talking about
3D printing. Yes.
You can't pick the cheapest of the cheap printing.
Not always.
Okay.
And then there's also different types of printers that are good at different things. And there's
one's just for basic, other one's for line designs, that kind of thing.
Well, no. Okay, so
Like
there's
something.
two. The main there's more than this, but the two main, if you will, types of printers are your resin printers and your
right.
Hey, Felix Gun colors on. It's been a while.
The razor printer and then the other type that doesn't require as much installation. Lack of installation.
Let's see. Felix says, at a counterpoint to 3D printing, one could create outstanding game systems using simple paper, cardboard, and layouts. Exactly. Right.
Remember the hexagons?
Yes.
The different hexes for the blade. Okay.
And that's great. And that's the important part. You see, you get the skeleton there. Skeletons are great. But there's no reason why it can't also be pretty. And that's where I'm getting at is the indie crowd already has those board games set where it's just a few cards and whatnot. But there's no reason that they can't also make it pretty now because of things like 3D printing and more modern assets. Felix says, as an example, check out Windix 4080 game. It's played on a 2x3 game arena using contrasting colors and to produce the 2-layer effect. I will check it out. But also, there's no reason why he can't use 3D printing, too.
To replace some of the pieces you lost.
Ooh.
Or a dog ate or a child got on. Right?
What? I mean, sure, yeah.
Replace.
But the point I'm trying to get at here is we don't have to just use the cheap little cards and long list of rules. You can have that. But in the modern era, we have the tools to also make cool things with things like 3D printing and like a lot of the equipment and stuff that could make professional stuff that only the big time companies could own are actually manageable in smaller garage type settings now. There's no reason why that production needs to go to China. We can make it here. And there's 3D printer. Ironically, you might buy the 3D printer from China. But once you have it, you can produce stuff here. And that's what's great. And what I think the indie developers should take advantage of. The best part is you can create a situation where you can have two tiers. You can have the, we'll print out all of the little figurines for you and ship it to you, right? And then there's also the tier of you can buy a license or something. And then I love there's like these 3D printing subscriptions where they'll send out free 3D blueprints that you can print in your 3D printers that a professional has designed. It's really cool. Like for your $5-10 a month, your usual subscription, you can get a whole thing of cool minis that you can print out of your 3D printer. And I mean, I'm trying to think. I'm sure there's stuff like that for cards now too that you can get in home without a ton of money put into it. Like there's like a medium cost.
It's called Canva.
But the best part is, that I'm trying to bring in like the whole board game industry here. There's a ton of people who aren't going to want to go for the trouble of getting their own 3D printers, figuring out the hobby, figuring out the difference between resin and filament printers and all the new stuff that comes up. There's going to be plenty of people who want to play a good game and don't want to deal with that production stuff and are just going to say, hey, just 3D print it for me and ship it to me. Boom. Easy. And with the tariffs, it becomes much more financially viable. It's great. And, there's going to be a whole host of people who've been
printed in the U.S.
Yeah, pinky up about like, ooh, I can see the lines, which resin printing, you're not going to see the lines, especially if it's a decent one. And there's all these channels and whatnot that have all these cool techniques like resin baths and whatnot that cover the little lines that come up.
If you see a line, just get your lighter and just melt it down.
That's also a possibility with the filament stuff, but it doesn't always work that way. And you might have a lot of lines to do it, wife. So things like filament baths are really interesting. So if you don't know, look up some of the 3D printing, if you're interested, YouTube channels. Like there's years of these guys experimenting with different methods to make higher quality, stronger prints. And I'm not just talking with no, I'm not just talking about making them strong so they could be nondescript boom sticks either, if you know what I mean. Right. So
it's for the Roman candle.
And because obviously, if you could have a full industrial room directly, the thing about a 3D printer is it allows you to have the ability to produce laser. Felix says laser-centered printer metal parts. Oh, dude, they have metal 3D printers now that can actually print metal. It's the craziest thing in the life. It's way too expensive for me right now. But I saw them on YouTube channel. My mind would like, whoa. Maybe I've played too many strategy games as a kid, but like my mind just went.
Do you melt the?
Like they literally melt the metal. Oil? Like there's metal.
Pour into liquid metal and it just.
Yeah, thanks tomato, and it literally melts metal and then layers it up. But it's metal, it's not plastic. So no.
I remember Chris Wong.
Hey, it's been a while, Chris Tomato.
Way back when we used to.
Wong. What's up, man? It's been a while. Love the title. Thank you. And Felix says, heck, there's printing lower jaw assemblies for the dental industry. That's crazy. That's nuts.
Like what they did, they literally scan your mouth. They did this for the root canal. And then you did the crown.
They 3D printed the.
From just scanning your mouth. And it goes onto the computer system. They send it off to whatever industry that prints it out.
And all those.
And it's insane. Like I got one of those in my mouth.
And all those punks said that those strategy games were unrealistic, having little buildings you build that produce.
Hey, who wants to play checkers with their teeth? Just kidding.
What?
It's not better in my head.
Good to see you, to me. And this image of you like taking some poor man and like beating his teeth out of him so you play chess with it. Like, what? And the canines are now the bishops. Do it with vampire teeth. Ah!
Rosie, let me see your teeth.
No, doggo, no. Say hi, Rosie. Oh gosh, all my leaning back and forth. I've ruined the lighting again. It's my bald head. I apologize. Ever since I went bald, the webcams have decided to bald shame me every time, which you probably know, Chris Wong. And actually, Felix, I'm pretty sure it's happened on previous streams with you too. Yes, you're a dog. You're a dog. But I want to encourage any guys like you, Felix, who have really good or no really good written rules, because now you have the ability with a little bit of work to create like almost production quality goods to sell that would have been completely out of the realm of the possibility for you or any other indie developer out there. But now it's possible. And more, they can create a subscription system that. What are you doing? I'm in the middle of a very important meeting. Yes, a meeting. You say hi. Say hi. Yes, that's you. Too. You see you? No. Okay. Yeah. The cat's judging us right now. Right. Okay. Okay. Too much. Get out of here. Anyway, what a wonderful dog who tries to eat my face. But you can. We can now create the best cool indie games. Give them the physical pieces so you can have the best of both worlds of the best made games with cool pieces that you can paint and all do the cool stuff. Did I hear a pervert joke out of you? Or she snort funny?
She went under the table, looked at you, and snorted.
I'm losing my wife. We're going to keep moving. So, with the subscription service, there's especially with an indie board game company, talk about a risky venture, right? But you can get monthly income that way, not just from sales, but from the subscriptions. And as long as you keep an artist semi decently employed, you can produce these fun little variants or expansions and whatnot on a kind of a constant monthly basis to your general games. And Wong says physical pieces are very important. Spend hundreds on board games as the digital games go to hell. Yeah, exactly. But
you need replacements for your Axis and Allies planes.
It's true. I tried to plaster my Axis and Allies and I broke one of my planes. Whoops! Oh well. Oh, I'd love to make my own. I used to love Axis and Allies, the system.
You would play it by yourself.
But I was always sad because it was so concentrated in World War II. The Indians, there's only a few ways that the Axis and Allies game can end, And generally, it always goes the same way. There's only so many opening moves you can use. I mean, you could argue chess is like that too, but I want a free-for-all Axis and Allies, dang it. And Wong says the physical means I own it and have access to it. Yes. And what's cool, right, with these subscriptions, if you have your own 3D printer, right, not only can you support the developers that you like making these cool games, you can also get access to things like those board games for cheaper, printing them out yourself. And bam, you have a physical thing. And even if it breaks, as long as you keep that digital copy, you can make a physical copy. Like they back each other up, which is really cool.
Grizzly, I'm sorry, Skydog's not on right now.
It's very sad. Dang it, Skydog.
Now she comes down.
And with the physical industry tanking, with their slave labor being taken away from them, those pobrecitas, there's no better time to push this new concept of board gaming out there. Not everyone needs to have a 3D printer, as I said, right? I keep repeating myself this time, but I don't care. I'm going to keep repeating myself, right? You have a small to medium-sized 3D printing farm, part of your board game thing, and you offer a series of subscriptions, right? One tier level subscription is the 3D printed stuff. You can get access to all the base games that you want to 3D print, right? And then maybe every month, if you keep your subscription up, you can print whatever expansion or extra little figures or assets or changeables you want. Maybe even if it's as simple as a different variant on the same piece, but you want to feel special. To something as intense as here's a new monster type you can fight in this adventure game, right? And it's good for the developer in a lot of ways because you can breathe new life into a game and keep it going for your players and keep them interested, and they're more likely to keep playing your game, by the way, because they keep getting those expansions and whatnot. As long as you don't go too crazy with it, like it's key to keep it good, but not excessively time consuming on your resources, right? It needs to be something simple but good that can be easily produced without taking up your entire month. Like if all your production time's on this, you're not going to have time for other products you're trying to make or shipping your products, especially if you're like a solo operation. Yeah. The funny thing is, as Wong says, you were talking about physical live service. As I brought up with Felis, I don't know if you heard this, Wong, there is already a similar system out there with a lot of 3D printer guys out there. If you look, you should go to if you look up 3D printing subscriptions, there's a bunch of guys who put out their designs like on a monthly basis, and you get the 3D assets to print out on your 3D printer. And there's a new wave of minis every single month that he sends out. Now, I think they should go one step further and have their own 3D printer farms for people who don't want to buy their own 3D printer and figure out 3D printing. So you have the cheaper, easier one that you send out to all your intense 3D printer guys who want to go for that process that, shall we say, a more expensive buy-in. And then you have your own assets that you print out and send out to your subscribers who don't want to buy the 3D printers, right? The simple people.
There's a company right there named
My Mini Factory. Yeah, My Mini Factory. It's such a good idea, but I'm shocked that more indie board game developers don't do it, because in my mind it's such a no-brainer, because you can obviously the 3D printing crowd's big, but it's also kind of niche. So if you add your own 3D printer farm to it, you can have both into the subscriptions. You make a more expensive subscription, which includes the shipping and the production of the models, and then you send them out, right? And then you have a cheaper asset licensing one that just sends out the assets. And of course, if you have those really big time crazy people, they can technically do both. Get the ones you send them. And if you really want to go crazy, you could add something special to the more expensive one that gets shipped, like a special box it comes in. Ooh. Or a special little pamphlet. Wait, why are you giving me that look? And then it could also come with the the digital design. So if it ever breaks, you can 3D print another one, right? The layers are God, yeah.
Wow, you're slow.
Well, you just gave me this like look of disdain, like you disgust me, and I was trying to figure out like what did I do this time? I mean, I don't care. Ooh, but leather bound rule book does kind of sound like overkill, but really fun. I hate when rules get ripped. Ooh.
Engrave it with the metal printer.
Ooh, metal printer, metal minis. That does sound really cool.
Like those mini
I always
machines, those little cars that we grew up with.
Micro mini machines.
We do the macro mini machines.
We need to do those.
And then you could have each car come in like a little cowhide box thing.
Little cowhide box. Oh, that's cool.
Just saying.
That is a really cool idea. I like that. I don't know. Did you guys ever play with micro mini machines? Those were the bomb when I was a kid.
And you could take them wherever you went.
Little vehicles like this big.
And they were different themed.
Oh, it was great. And they would make all these sets that like it was a big car that folded out into...
or the toolbox. We had the toolbox.
The gray toolbox. Out. And it folds into like a little driving map. Oh, that's great. Wrong says the way they do it... Oh, you gotta read that a little louder, wife, because you just mumbled that into the... Wong says the way they do it right now is the design around a single game system like D&D 5e, and they have stats blocks and counters around it. Yeah, it's great. So, in that sort of vein, there's no reason why other board games couldn't take advantage with their game systems. Mini expansions, like take Axis and Allies, for example. You could, hey, this monthly subscriber is a variation of the submarines that have X and X different abilities, right? And here you go. You can print out these submarines, or you can be a part of the concierge service, and we will print out the submarines ourselves and ship them to you, plus a a leather bound. Well, that's probably too much, right? But it could be cool. Like maybe the super concierge get the special leather bound.
Or it goes
Extra
in like
rules.
a garage for your plane.
Yeah, extra rules types thing. And that comes with it something pretty and fun that maybe has a brief blurb about the historical significance behind each summary, right? You can apply this to virtually any board game out there if the devs want to put the time in.
VD's arts of dark and light can be designed in
Louder.
apps too, and monthly release content.
let me help you. It would be awesome if VDs, that's Vox Days, Arts of Dark, that's for other people who might not know.
Oh, sorry.
We are on YouTube. There could potentially be a person who doesn't know more. There's a cattail in my face. Vox Days, Arts of Dark and Light, which is, if you don't know, Vox Days board game he's making.
Remember that, yeah.
Like, can be designed around Acts 2 and have monthly release content. By the way, love the energy and vibe between you two. Oh, thanks, Blanc. There's got to be a reason why you come back. You sure it's not here for the cat and his... I feel stalked right now. What are you doing, pussycat? What are you doing to my wife? Could you not? No, you don't want to do that.
Rosie, no.
I'm too distracted. Anyway, good pussycat. So that's what I'm saying, right? I don't.
Rosie, no.
We need to add a few more animals in here that can like harass us while we stream. It's like
Chickapee.
I was thinking more cats and dogs. Or at least something that produces eggs. Or, I don't know.
A bird.
I mean, a parrot does produce eggs. I could eat a parrot egg, but I'm not going to harvest it.
There's quails outside. We'll catch one.
Catch a quail. I mean, there are quails.
Their eggs are good.
They'll poop over everything.
You know what's funny?
Oh,
Our oldest was outside looking at the quail. He's like, I gotta get me lunch. My lunch.
I raised him right. He's like
looking at it, and he sees the bunny rabbits hopping around, and he's like,
he thinks
lunch.
He's funny about that. That's us. But he I don't think he would actually kill the bunnies.
I don't think he does.
He'd probably kill the bird. Probably not the bunnies. He likes the bunnies.
He likes the bunny song up.
The bunny up top. 3D printed bunnies.
To go with their album.
Oh man. But personally, right. Here's like the side look sci-fi thinking about it. Now that they have the metal 3D printers that are being industrialized and all that and are getting smaller and smaller, I can't wait till those get small enough and non-industrialized enough or like, hobbyist enough that I can produce like classic. Remember those Monopoly pieces that were metal?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't that what would be absolutely metal in a rock and roll kind of way would be like a D&D or a 40K type or the what's the one with all the mechs that Razor Fist likes so much that's being wokeified really fast. Whatever, No, it's
Doom?
no.
I'm just doing
Battle something. Battletech. Right, it's robots. Not robots, excuse me, mechs. There's a big difference. It's very important.
Tech mech.
But
tech.
actual like little metal, solid metal figures of various different mech techs. That'd be pretty cool. Not gonna lie. It'd be really rad. I don't know how long we have to wait for that, but judging by how the technology has been advancing, we're probably what? I want to say I was getting into 3D printing. Not that I actually was able to start because certain factors. When I finally had enough money to get one, I got a resin.
You got the wrong one?
I got the wrong one. I got a resin printer, and we were in an apartment, and I didn't want the fumes to get to the kids, especially if we had newborns and stuff. And I'm like, ugh. We finally get to a house. I get so busy, I never set the darn thing up.
We lost half of the pieces.
And then we lost half the pieces in the third move. Sad day for everyone involved. Mostly just me.
We used to get them on sale way back when.
Anyway, so and back then, right, the metal 3D printers were just pure industry thing. You didn't think would actually happen. Mostly it was like engraving or the things that like cut metal blocks down smaller.
Or like the dog collar chain.
Well, they have these like.
Or is it like those metal car models that you would build?
Okay, though that's not 3D printed though. That actually comes into like a sleep machine that like cuts it. It's like a big industrial machine. That
Okay,
cuts a bunch of-
so
So I'm talking.
oh yeah, you brought up the Monopoly pieces. So something prints like something like
Yeah,
that.
well, like I said, they have metal 3D printers that print metal, like it's steel and stuff melted, and it melts in layers, like actual metal, like iron and stuff. So you can get all those unique details and whatnot in metal life. That's so rock and roll metal. Ha ha ha. Dad jokes. But
it's been a long day.
I'm still bummed about. Felix says I'm still bummed about the choose the next place Monopoly poll. When they such classics as Sherman by plane, they chose the money bag. Ah, God, I hated Monopoly.
I always like getting the little doggy.
Yes, they preferred a golden turd over a classic
Hey,
by plane.
Gaines.
Yeah. See, hey, Art Gaines. I know. I know. I don't know. Where are you, Art Gaines? Shoot.
Canada.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you know this. Canada is as far east as west as the
Yeah,
United
because
States can
remember
be.
when we were in Florida and times before that kind of time zone.
We moved our dates. We are now in Arizona. We are as west. Rockies, baby. Thanks for the like, by the way. Toronto. I know that's a city. I know it's in Canada, and now I realize I have no idea where it is. Do you know, wife? Is it east, west? Is it next to Michigan? Perhaps it is spitting at Alaska. Is it in the Hudson Bay? Perhaps Greenland is scared of its farts.
Aaron.
Oh, that's why it's East Coast. He said Buffalo. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, for you, it's like 11, 1. Yeah, it is like 1 a.m. for you. Sorry, I can't. I'm trying to do it earlier. I am, but my kids are very stubborn about going to bed, and my cousins require video game time. Okay, that last one I could probably. Yeah, we really do need to get these streams earlier, but I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do it without like not just animals, but children crawling all over me. Oh man, we need to at least try to get started
an hour earlier. We started like 10
9 maybe. Nah. I don't know what to do about that. How long does it take for you?
Because their cousins vary on how
Cousins
long
don't stop till 8:30. Don't start till 8. Sorry.
Sometimes they do it an hour sooner too.
Sorry. I discovered social behaviors now that I've moved near my cousins, like playing with people I actually know online. It's very strange. I don't know how to handle it. And of course, they don't get playing video games until they've put their chickens away at like 8:30 in the p.m. Chickens. Lots of chickens, in fact. Wish they had more. They have ducks too. The one's probably going to be put down soon.
The duck?
It is being tortured by the other ducks. Because ducks are cruel, man.
Or was that the one of the chickens that was going to die? Because one chicken...
Well, one chicken's being too cruel. They're going to kill the bully. But there's another duck that they're going to probably put out of it. There's a duck they're probably going to put out of its misery because it's being tortured by the other ducks.
The fact that I know the ducks' names, I don't dare.
It's a boomer duck life, as it were. Oh, those are rapey things. But, yeah. I do worry about the people who used to watch us on the East Coast. I don't know what we'll do. We'll figure something out at some point. But at the very least, we need to start before 10:15. That's true.
The names of those chickens and ducks I cannot say on here out
loud. Let them use their imagination, wife.
And if I say anything,
Oh, by the way, folks, Art Gaines has been doing some cool stuff with AI. If you start making 3D stuff, I want to see you start. Here's when you get around to it. I know you have all your own projects, but I'd love to see if you can do like a full AI track into 3D printing. Like you use AI to make 3D models that then get printed out of the printer, but high quality enough to actually be used. That's the problem. Like I tried making some 3D printed assets for video games, and you can make some stuff, but you really need some skills. Yeah, you really need some skills involved to refine them afterwards. So it was really cool to watch Art Gains. I haven't had a chance to look at the little videos, but I watched enough to see you make art and then use the AI to complete it for you. That was brilliant. I love it. My boss is a 3D printer. Yeah, experiment. Board games. Woo, woo, woo. The board game industry is dying. Those slave labor addicts. Tarifs. They're brilliant. I love them. Yeah. I don't know if there's more to say on that subject. It's just an obvious thing. Get your subscriptions. Send out your 3D prints. Doesn't matter what type of board game you are, you can do it. In the future, I want to see metal 3D printers remake little cool figurines for board games in metal. I mean, we could do it now if you have a bit of a more intense shop, because they have, obviously, the really, not the industrial ones I was talking about earlier, but they have these, I forget what they're called, but rather than printing up, they cut a block down, if that makes sense.
Like
so you put you put a steel block in there, and then it cuts it automatically.
Shaves it off in a way.
Yeah, they use that to make the barrels for guns, for example, if you want to make. I'm not saying you should make guns in your basement with a block of metal, but as long as you don't make, I think it's the receiver or certain other pieces, that's technically not a gun, it's just a tube. Oh, Felix, I must head back to the drive home. I should return in 20 minutes or thereabouts. Oh, it's like a milling system. Yeah, I've seen them. They actually have it's like a AI run computer printing thing, but it cuts them down lower. I've seen it because I went down a rabbit hole of 3D printing guns for a while, and I realized that no guns were fully 3D printed except for one shot, done, destroyed things that weren't that useful and generally exploded in your hands, for the obvious reason that the 3D filament and various other things aren't strong enough to contain the blast from a shot from a gun. Generally, anything with enough power to do enough damage would be the way to look at it.
You're really talking about nail guns.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or phasers, lasers, and tasers. Oh my. Oh my. I'm not saying you might have better luck. No, compression chamber would probably destroy it too. So, anyway, so what I found was, alternatively, you can have 3D printed for the non-metal parts. So the receiver, there's a lot of channels that because it takes a lot of experimentation and things tend to explode in your hand. Arcane says, yeah, I broke a 3D printed model just by tightening a screw. Yeah, you got to be careful. And there's various methods to make it stronger, and different filaments and resins are stronger. There's a whole weird art to it and constant development. I just go down the 3D printing rabbit hole online and YouTube and whatnot. There's an entire just guys going through crazy iterations of different things to make prints stronger for guns and all these other things. I mean, for nail guns.
Nailed.
Anyway, so for me, I was like, well, hey, what if you make the less important pieces out of the 3D printed stuff, and things like the barrel and certain parts of the mechanism that needs to be stronger out of the metal, either the mill that can mill it out and rifle it. It's the rifling and stuff that's important. Now, yes, this kind of cracked me up. You know how certain writers in Hollywood don't know how real life works in hilarious ways. For example, in Winter Soldier, right? They researched just enough to figure out that the rifling and barrels are what cause the little symbols and little scratch marks that allow them to match up a bullet to a gun. So they said, oh, the Winter Soldier had a non-rifled barrel. The only problem is we rifled barrels because they're really inaccurate when they're not rifled. And the Winter Soldier was supposed to be a sniper in these situations.
Is that how he lost his arm?
Apparently, it just blows it off. It's gone. Like, you know,
that makes a better story.
He's like, unless he's running around with an automatic musket, this is a really bad idea.
Is that how he lost his arm?
And they're like, it's so accurate. Like, you can't. What? This doesn't work like that. I just have this mental image of the Winter Soldier getting like a musket or something and stabbing a guy and blowing his brains out. And the cops just scratching their heads like, ooh, how could we ever match this wound up to another gun? Also, what's the point of non-rifling the barrel if it becomes his calling card and they tie all of his assassinations to him because it's an unrifled barrel and that's how they tied it to him? Okay. Kind of. Also, maybe instead of unrifling the barrel, you could just change out your barrel for the next kill. Yeah. Or just use a different gun since you're a Hydra agent in this situation, and presumably they have endless funds. I still don't know. Like, that's another thing. I didn't mean to rant. Man, the things you go down on these rabbit trails, you never think. It really bothers me. Catman. Speaking of slave labor, anyway, good segue. So now I just have a fat man little segue go. Anyway,
where's Arcane's AI?
No. How dare your AI follow me around, Arcanes? I feel violated. Anyway, it always cracks me up how Hollywood writers have no concept about
we found your oasis for you.
In the mountains too, no less. Have no concept of how like production and money and wealth, how that works. Like in their minds, like when you're rich, you just can afford anything. It's like a state of being. You really feel this when you watch certain like Batman films. And they try to portray like his businesses and all like the weird expenses.
Like, every time he poops, money comes out.
Yeah, like somehow he can. It's actually less the movie, like the movie Batman's like is it Nolan? Is it Nolan the director? The the decent ones before the more modern ones,
like the old school ones,
the ones after the campy ones that don't have the Robin nipples, but before they put the Twilight guy in the suit and try to pretend like he was somehow manly all of a sudden. Like, what?
They did do that.
Yeah, they did do that, and I'm like, everyone's trying to tell me how good the movie is, and I'm like, no, they could have maybe pulled off making him
Joker.
No, what maybe. A very, very depressed, sparkly Joker. No, I was going to go, since they made him look like just a goth kid, he could have maybe pulled off one of the Robins or a very angry version of, obviously not Red Hood. He's not manly enough to be Red Hood. He'd have to be the guy with the sticks. Dick Grayson, I can't remember what he turns into. No, really, guys, I'm not Robin anymore. I'm my own superhero. Look at me. I got a new suit. Whatever you say, Robin. Anyway. Look, he gets a hot girlfriend. We'll give him credit. He found the weird redheaded space princess. Give him credit. Who dresses like a stripper.
Before they got rid of all the redheads? Or?
Yeah, before they literally made her a black redhead in the Teen Titans show. Nightingale? No. Nightingale's not it. Nightwing. That's the one. He is the wing of the night. Nightwing. There you go. Yeah, the moon. Inside joke if you play Marvel Rivals. Anyway.
Stop mooning.
Oh my god. But yeah. What was I talking about? Nightwing. Oh yeah, I was saying Shiny Vampire Boy could maybe play a Nightwing, but he doesn't have like the raw like male energy to portray a proper Batman Bruce
He doesn't
Wayne.
have the proper.
If you know what I mean. I mean, to be fair, what was the one actor who's beloved from which Batman was it? It was the Batman where Joker was the guy from The Shining, and I can't remember. An actor who does not have raw male gravitas, but he has strange male crazy that for some reason worked for Batman. Personally, I think it's just because the writers were like, no, this Batman's totally going to kill and not give a shit. I mean, funny how no one got up in arms about that. It's totally cool with it. It's like, you guys are insane. I'm insane. Let's get nuts. You're dead. Great. Love it. On board. Well played. His Joker didn't come back to murder his Robin. Who would have done that? Just saying. I'm not. Woo. Good times. I'm not saying it fixes all the problems, but it kind of fixes all the problems. It really does. I was just, I never really watched Star Trek, but because I couldn't get over the
Don't
obvious.
tell your aunt that.
The obvious like Babylon vibes of like, oh, we're all perfect now because we came together and turned against God and became atheists. Thank you. Everything's perfect. Join us and are obviously not. What's the thing that 1984 was? Oh, it's a literary term. Dystopia. That's the one. We're obviously not a dystopia, which you clearly are, you utopia fucks, but we're not a dystopia. You obviously are. And anyway, in there, I never watched, but apparently there's this character called Wolf who always wants to kill everyone, and he's always told that he's being too violent, and then by the end of the episode, they kill him anyway.
They kill him in a violent way.
Yes, the very violent way. So I come to the conclusion that obviously Indian or Swedish. I don't know. Maybe it's an Indian who migrated to Sweden.
Or the Swedish that migrated to India.
Oh my god. Careful, the Swedish chef is going to come out with his knives again.
Don't eat that beef.
Mm-hmm. New meaning to mystery meat. Or is it the same meaning?
That is the question.
The question. Best character ever. But,
now who's mumbling?
You're not supposed to know my notes in my head. Shh. They were supposed to hear the comments. You're not supposed to hear the notes. I'm talking out loud because I'm tired and I can't think in my head right now. Publix.
Oh God.
It's the grocery store called Publix. I'm very disturbed by it. Oh my gosh, we're keeping this poor man up till 3 a.m.
I thought that was a hair removal place.
Makes sense. Makes sense to me.
Boar's hair.
The bikini Publix. So.
Shut up.
This is a great segue into Marvel Rivals. The funny thing about Chinese developers is they give the people what they want. The problem is in Marvel Rivals, apparently that
working Venom now.
It comes in. They made an emote where Venom twerks and makes heart motions around himself. No, it's not his hands. It was just hearts start appearing around him, and he.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious. And I'm also disturbed.
It's awkward.
I'm confused. And yet. And then the new season apparently added a new hero who's just a stripper. They give the people what they want. I can't deny. The Chinese people give the people what they want. It's just a little disturbing sometimes.
You know how much detail
maybe they latch on to the wrong details sometimes. Just saying. Maybe don't listen to them as much. I mean, the new maps look really darn good. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little excited to play them. They look kind of good. Don't worry, I'll just make my wife cosplay as it. It'll fix it. Like you denied when I showed you you were like, I want that. It was hilarious. They're trying to distract from the
bathing suit.
Yeah, they're trying to distract from the face that there's the fact that there's something a little off by Emma Frost's face though.
Her
There's
face
something about it's a little off.
And then her hair, her little hair thing, it reminds me of that big red rooster hair.
I should just make this the cover of our entire video.
From from Tom and Jerry, the big rooster with the red hair.
He was never part of Tom and Jerry.
Did they showed him one point.
Point?
They did.
You're a liar. Usually he was with the chicken hawk. About chickens.
The bulldog too.
Yes, and the bulldog.
And the bulldog is sometimes in the Tom and Jerry show.
No, not
every now and then.
It's not a bulldog. It's like a hound. The bulldog's the one in Tom and Jerry.
There was a chicken there at one point. There was a chicken with a big fluffy.
There was a chicken. I need someone to look up if Tom and Jerry were part of Looney Tunes because I don't think they actually were. Shared universes. They were doing the multiverse before it was cool to do the multiverse. I'm pretty sure Bugs Bunny wasn't owned by the same people who owned Tom and Jerry. Otherwise, you would have seen crossovers.
Bugs Bunny is Warner Brothers.
But what is Tom and Jerry? I think they're MGM. Maybe this is an important thing. Anyway, it's exciting. I'm actually really excited for a new season. Looks good. A lot of the skins actually look pretty interesting. And not even the Gooner skins. Just all of them look kind of fun. Some of them aren't expressly inspired, to be honest. And I took a moment for a minute. I thought the new Black Widow skin was a new Spider-Verse character, and I got a little excited that we were getting an extra hero, but no. It's just false advertisement.
Yeah, there is a multiverse in
Yes.
Tom and Jerry.
Yes, but it's wife. It's not Bugs Bunny.
No, and I'm not talking about Bugs Bunny. I'm not talking about. There's that little bulldog. It's in Tom and Jerry. Okay.
Do you see a rooster, woman? You don't see a rooster because
I'm
they're MGM, not Warner Brothers. There is a difference.
The rooster was. I thought the rooster was MGM.
Now see ya, boy. See ya. Anyway,
What do I call it?
I didn't know I was going to be talking about Looney Tunes right now. My gosh. Oh man. Well, I thought I'd have more to say about Rivals. I guess we could 3D print right.
All you mentioned was the strip.
It was like with 3D print, and then I went, oh. I know that's going to be abused. Let's not talk about that or think about it. Oh, man. But. Big butt, little butt. It's exciting news, nonetheless. It looks like we're getting Ultron as well.
Oh!
Yes, wife. Yes.
That's Sebastian the kitty cat.
Yes. Wrong cat. You're thinking of Tweety the bird and Sebastian the cat. I thought a booty cat. I did. He's right over there. He's asleep on my chair. It's okay, wife. You can be wrong on live television sometimes. It won't hurt you.
I thought, yeah.
It's okay.
And there's Porky the pig.
Yep. Yeah. We done now? Can we get back to topic? Hilarious. That's what you get for thinking your husband was wrong. Just saying.
I want the public to know you were right.
The Publix?
Shut up. Throw cat.
Yay! Poor kitty cat. He looks so peaceful. You wouldn't do that to him. I mean, you do it to me, but to him? Come on. It's rude. Why do you look so sad? Like, what do you mean I can't abuse my cat? Brutality.
Abuse? It's just
forced labor. Ah! Yeah. Oh, man. It is funny that the second tariffs go up, that the board game industry dies because they've been just using a ton of slave labor for something that could have been transferred to 3D printing this whole time, like local 3D printing shops.
So
We can make those machines work all day long, baby. We don't need to starve the children. Work the children to death, I guess.
the thing about back to Marvel Rivals, you figured out that character was Bruce Banner.
Yes, Banner.
What does he look like after the Hulk?
He looks like, funny enough, he's like a gangster atheist with muscles because he has a fedora. Though it doesn't look atheist because he's the Hulk and he has muscles.
Just a fedora?
Yes. You know, there was a time when fedoras meant cool.
I know.
And one day we will regain the fedora from the Gamma and the Atheist. They took it because they thought it was cool, and they thought they were the hard-boiled detective rooting out all those stupid Christians. And then they just ruined the fedora for everybody. Those fat fucks.
And now they're going to ruin black shirts for everybody.
Eventually they'll get there. When they figure out the Dark Lord's black look and try to emulate him, they will ruin the black shirts for everybody. It is true. Because no one wants to see a big fat guy in a revealing black shirt. Tight black shirt.
Wearing a fedora.
Ah! No. You can't do this to me, wife. Don't give them ideas. They'll ruin all the symbols at once.
With a trench coat.
Ah! No. You can't do this.
And a pipe.
Not my pipes. I like pipes. I know what happened over here. Anyway. Yes.
You know what happens about labor?
I was going to say, we're talking about pipes. Do I go down what I instantly thought about? I'm like, yes, I know how babies are made.
I was talking about plumbing. Oh, my indoor plumbing.
Well, I don't do an outdoor service, if you know what I mean. Where are we going with this? Why did you do that?
You're in a state of
If my cousins ever watch this, they're going to be like so red and confused. And like, I didn't ever would have thought about my cousin this way. Thanks, cousin. Serves them right for making me make Arcane stay up past 3 a.m. Joker, I don't even know her.
Rosie,
I know her. I'll choke her. She looks so confused. Like, what's wrong, boss? I'm your dog. I'm the dog. Yes, you're a wonderful dog. Oh, man. Oh, you hurt, girl? You're not getting chafed by your new leash thing, are you? Check her. Ah, yes.
Do you have anything to say or no? Except for just horrible jokes. That's just...
You're laughing at my horrible jokes, you horrible. What? What? Oh, come on. Rosie, you need to run. She's crazy. She's going to kill you. Look at her face. Run. My dog looks terrified right now, by the way. Yes, stretch. Oh, man. I guess we can talk about the Foxville update.
When is that happening?
Well, there was a soft one right now, actually. It just happened. Not the big air, like, calm down. The big air one hasn't coming up till this summer, which is a few months away.
In August?
I think it's like
September.
July. I want to say it's July is what they're shooting for. But recent update did happen with some nice little upgrades and things, little nerdy things if you play Foxville. They added a new facility building that allows you to make 40 millimeter ammo and heavy infantry ammo.
Because you can only go to like 20?
No, because you had to go to like a production town to make it.
Yeah.
And now you can make it anywhere. It's not very efficient anywhere, but you can make it. Make lots of it. Remember that big building we made in that one war?
Yeah.
Now you can upgrade it to make tank ammo and certain other ammos. Yeah, we're nerdy as heck.
How long does it take?
How long does it take? Probably as long as the last one. Remember, like, it would take a long time,
Yeah,
like 5 hours,
part.
but you would get 10 boxes of lots.
I remember that. That took like 2.
Rejoice. It's a lot of fun. Problem is, I'm sure all the good spots will be taken by the big clans. But
Who won the last war, though?
No one won the last war. They ended it early because it was taking too long. Yep.
How long did it go?
It went for like 40 days. To be fair, the developers wanted to get the update out. That's why they ended it early.
Okay.
Early. It was literally going for like a month and a half.
They had one go for like 52 days.
They did, but this was an update. Like, this was the war before an update. So it needed to end. So if you don't know how Foxhole works, I'm going to bore you a little bit, but that's okay. So Foxhole is a massive multiplayer war simulation game, would probably be the best way to put it, but it's a top-down shooter where everything has to be produced by the players. Bullets, guns, tanks, battleships, all of it. And hence facilities and all that. Basically, it works kind of like a strategy game, but there's no workers. You are the worker. That makes sense. It's like, imagine
more labor.
More slave labor, but you choose to do it. So is it slave labor? It's like volunteer slave labor.
Yeah.
So if you can imagine your old school Age of Empires game, but there's no one controlling anyone, and all of the AI are actually players. And that's Foxhole. In like a World War II-esque setting. It's very entertaining. Not gonna lie. It's very complicated and involved. And not only do you have to build everything, you have to take it everywhere. So if you build a gun in the back line, to get it, you have to take it to the fight. So you don't just make it, you also have to ship it. Did you get a cramp?
No.
It's
asleep.
Sleep.
You see, I sat on it.
Well, maybe you should have moved in the last hour. Have you thought of that? You're funny. I love you. Her brain is rotting right now because of the
It is
long
rotted
day and
about 2 hours ago.
Good for you. Oh man. But it's exciting. Oh, because this update is a nice build-up update because they're adding air power, because the big one last year, 2 years ago, was it last year? Whatever, was a naval update where they made huge battleships and things that were multi-crewed by like 20 players. It's great. When they say massive, they mean massive. It's a lot of fun. And the map is so big and the resources are so involved that a single war between two factions, so the equivalent of like a Call of Duty round, can last 2 months. The longest was something like 52 or 52 days, 56 days, something like that, with like millions of casualties. It's hilarious every time. I crack up every time 6 million comes. For obvious reasons. Are you? So,
It's been around 3 times.
It's a cool game. You should look up Foxhole. All of the expansions are free. You just have a one-time buy-in cost of, it's like
$40?
$30 to $40. And you get up. It's crazy. It's one of those games that stayed steady. And people always, it's like one of those games that I always come back to when there's a new update, or I just need a break for a while, and it'll consume me for a while. And then I'll burn out and do something else for a while, and then I'll come back. It's a lot of fun. It's good times. I really need to get my cousins in on it. They don't know the joys and the pain of having a second job on the internet that doesn't pay you a dime. Good times. Whoa. But plus, the best thing about the game is there's open mic, so you can harass your enemies and they can harass you, or just have conversations over the divide, like in the classic, I think it's Gettysburg, classic Civil War movie, where the Yankees and the Southern Scout share coffee and baccy, and then we'll go their own ways and murder each other. Just like that. I have that all the time. It's pretty funny.
It's funny when you're dying and they carry you away.
Yes. It's entertaining, as there is like a revive mechanic, but you have to like make the resources to revive people with it. So they made a mechanic where you can pick people up and carry them around, but you can pick up your enemies and use them as human shields and talk to them.
Somebody did that to me.
It was pretty funny. Yes, I've been thrown into the ocean as a dead man multiple times. War crimes! Always better in video game form. Very entertaining. I have been executed more times than I can count.
It's fun trapping people under your vehicle.
Yes, harassment.
Especially
Beautiful.
armored vehicles.
The best.
Or ambulance, barely.
I am addicted to running at vehicles because if you
And
run
then chasing them in a circle
yes.
and then pretending you're gonna about to throw a grenade at them or something.
Yes, the dream is to run at them, make them think that you have grenades to destroy them,
and then they shoot and then
steal their tank. That would be the joy. It hasn't quite happened.
You got
for me
that
yet.
on. No, you got something similar like that going on once, and you got it. On,
I got so close to stealing that half track.
You got it on video.
I do. I need to. It was great. It was also the slowest escape in the world.
You annoyed them so much.
It was such good. It was good times. Highly recommend that game. And like I said, there's a new update in it, and their super update is coming. Hardcore. Summer. It's going to be beautiful. Planes. Imagine a Battlefield game, but you actually have to build your planes and the bullets for your planes and the bombs for your planes.
And load your plane.
And the fuel for your planes, too, by the way. And the resources to fix your planes. All has to be made.
How much fuel will that take?
You know, I'm assuming... So, hot take. I'm assuming they're going to burn a crap ton of fuel and probably require petrol. Maybe the bombers might even require heavy oil. And again, right? I just, like, if you haven't played...
heavy oil, don't
yeah.
you?
No, remember, you can actually... The best way is to make it, but you can also... Remember how I would cheat and use the oil wells?
Yeah. Fix them up and then...
What are they? The oil platforms. Yeah, there's oil platforms in the ocean you can take advantage of and build and stuff. Hilarious. And those, this game is so intense. Just to give you guys an idea, there's not 2 types of fuel. There's not 3 types of fuel. There's 4 different types of fuel in this game. And they all do different stuff. And you all get them in different ways. That's the kind of intensity and complications you're dealing with. Some fuel, like heavy fuel, is required for battleships to move and big ships to move. That's why you can get them in oil platforms or at facilities working with crude. Oh, excuse me, there's actually 6 type that can't be used for anything other than producing other fuels called crude oil. Right, that's right. Any resource you collect also has to be refined. You can't just use the resources. So you have to grab them, bring them to refineries or some facility that can refine it into something and then produce your something. That kind of intensity. It's crazy. It's nuts. It's all nuts. I love it. It takes away my entire soul when I play it. I am totally engrossed. Oh, man. You should totally try it. Make our games play till 5 a.m, just trying to hang out with us. No, I have a job too. I won't make you play because that would be like me 3 a.m, which has happened once or twice while playing it.
There have been times. Remember that last time it happened? I walked out of the room.
No.
And I gave you that glare.
No. That was funny though.
And it was well deserved.
It was funny. I had nothing to say.
That was really grouchy. Yes.
I might have woke her up at 2 a.m. That was hilarious. I was fighting in tanks, okay?
You were very excited.
It was a good time. We were finally beating them back.
You're still alive. So,
it's funny, right? It's hard to get people into this mindset. Like, I have this problem with a lot of the changes to Star Citizen these days is when you take away the difficulty of getting something. Like obviously, this is a digital asset, right? They can make as many of them as one, slap them in everybody's hands, and bam, you have a tank, right? But when it takes away the value of the tank, you feel so much more accomplished when you destroy a tank in Foxhole because you know that poor sod worked for hours, or well, it depends on the tank. If it's like a really advanced tank, he's worked with his friends for hours to produce that tank, and you just destroyed it, right? With the ultimate irony, like you just produced a few anti-tank weapons that were really cheap, right? That kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's so much more satisfying. And it's also really satisfying to work really hard, produce a really valuable tank, and then just murder entire droves of infantry with it because they have nothing to counter you properly. Also, it feels so much worse when it dies. The really well coordinated attack just murders it for you. It's going to be beautiful when you can do that with planes. Hot take. I'm assuming with planes that the fuel consumption is going to be through the roof, and you're going to have very limited range because the way they seem to be limited range and limited ammo count. Because you got to understand, in this game, nothing in this game can be done properly there's some things. Mostly anything in this game can't be done by yourself. Every tank requires at least 2 people to run. The light tank can get away with 2, but you should have 3 is probably better. I think.
Because you need a navigator, driver, and
the commander, the driver, and the gunner, right? The bigger tanks can have 5 to 6 crewmen. The battleships, like I said, you're talking like 20, 27 guys to run properly. It's that crazy. So they're introducing vehicles in this game that not only drive but shoot with one guy involved. So a fighter pilot, right? To make it fit with the rest of the game, they made it clear when they were announcing it that the way they're going to include other players into this is a pit crew. Basically, you're not going up flying with the guy like you would normally be. You're waiting on the ground to rearm, repair, and send the guy back up. So what's going to happen, what their goal seems to be, how would you accomplish this? Well, you would have to make it that after a very short amount of time of dogfighting or bombing, you have to come back and rearm, reload, repair, or refuel. And the only way to do that is to make sure these fighters have very little ammo, very few bombs, and very little fuel, and have to constantly come back. This would also mean that you would have to have more airfields. It's strategic, it's smart. And obviously, where you put your airfield is going to be very dangerous because closer to the front, the more time over target you have. Yet, the more likely you're going to get overwhelmed by partisans. That's the term for people sneaking behind defenses to destroy stuff, right? More likely you could lose all that aircraft and get them stolen, right? Ironically, this actually has real life equivalency. As I wooed my wife with this story, funny enough, in World War II, in the Africa War, more Nazi planes were destroyed on the ground by the SAS than the RAF killed in the air. And they did it with machine gun jeeps. They slapped the 30 cal on it, they drove into the desert, way past the defenses, they drove back, and they just went up and down the line of aircraft, shooting the crap out of them. Hilarious.
And in the naval war stuff, you can reenact it.
Yay! Even better if you can steal them, though. I'm just saying. Oh, it's going to be beautiful when the partisans get in. Like, I already know the YouTube video is going to pop out of people stealing like one plane and going on a carnage, crazy run.
World War II history lessons.
What's cool is
make homeschool great again.
We've also confirmed paratroopers. So, confirmed that they're adding parachutes.
So how many how many in a unit of paratroopers?
Who knows? We don't know those details. How many guys can go in one plane and all that. But because this is Foxhole, that means you're going to have to make a parachute. Hilariously, that means there's going to be plenty of videos of guys who think they have a parachute on but don't, and are Whee! It's gonna be great. It's gonna be I can't wait. It's gonna be hilarious. Oh, and now we have a new way of executing people because we can kick them off of planes.
It's a test flight,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You got your parachute? You
Where are the
failed.
drugs going? What drugs? Kick. Oh, man. Now I have this weird urge when it comes out to see if I can get a bunch of prisoners and dump them out over the enemy lines as like a joking, like, psychological effect. Like, release the prisoners! Oh, that's the best. One can only hope. It might not actually be possible, though, unfortunately. It depends on how the aircraft are set up. Because they have a system in the game, and I know I'm talking a lot about Foxhole, because I thought there would be more to talk about with Marvels.
Put in choppers.
Choppers? I mean, my instincts are to say they wouldn't put choppers in, because choppers are a later thing, but maybe they'd come up with, technically, the first helicopters were made in World War II. That would be pretty cool. If you're listening, Arrowhead.
But I haven't.
World War II looking crazy, wacky choppers with some weapons that they obviously wouldn't have had. Like, if World War II had lasted longer and they had time to develop these helicopters.
I'm saying because sometimes.
Yeah, maybe. Come. You know you want to. Yeah. Those are you should look those up. There's some wacky helicopters that they made. They're interesting prototypes that would go right into the Vietnam War in a lot of ways. The Germans made the best ones, but they didn't have time to do anything good with them. The Americans used the designs for their later stuff.
Have to be an update later.
Oh, way later, babe.
Way later.
There's no helicopters yet.
I know.
I know
there isn't, but I'm trying to kick myself for not even thinking about this sooner.
I'm glad you brought this up, because at first I was going to shut it down. I'm like, wait a minute, they could do it. This is like the beauty of Foxhole not being World War II, but technically alternate history side. Like it's like a fantasy world, but there's no magic. Well, okay, actually take that back.
That's called engineering, my dear.
Technically, if you get into the lore, there's a lot of weird element, like cultic activity going on that might mean there's some magic going on in the lore. However, and then there is technically zombies in the Halloween event. So according to the lore, there are zombies and dark magic, and they were not
zombie fight paratroopers. Do you have a parachute?
It's like when you launch the cow over, but it's a zombie instead. Ha ha!
Just drown again and die.
Yay! Oh man,
zombies and choppers.
Yeah. Anyway, the point is, because it's
there's a paratrooper going down. There's a chopper.
Because it's a made-up world, right? That they've created factions for and everything, right? They can do things like, oh, maybe the helicopter program actually took off enough to join the Endless Wars. Good times, right? They could actually do it. And it would be it would probably be easier to do than the airplanes, because, top-down helicopter piloting games, I think, exist.
The way it would fly would be very fascinating.
Well, they could do a faster version of their submarines. Yeah, they have submarines too. Yeah. So but man, at the same time, like, they make everything hard in this game. Like, just driving a big ship around is a chore. It's really hilarious. Like, you'll be sitting there going,
They could also
for like 5 hours trying to get in your spot, and you'll have like 10 boats behind you all honking their horns going, we have real lives to get to. Could you actually park your boat now? And I generally ignore them because I'm a jerk like that. No, I panic on the inside. I try harder.
Then there's traffic waters.
I remember I dragged this poor woman on what turned into what I thought would be an hour run. I think it turned into 2.5, 3 hours of us going to various ports, collecting resources, putting it in a boat, and then dragging that boat through glitchy waters back to our home base.
And you're
It
just going
took
back.
forever. I didn't think it was going to take that long. We had to find cranes, we had to unlock cranes, we had to find fuel for the cranes, we had to endlessly maneuver our ship to get them in range of the crane. Ooh, and then we had to collect the resources while we were there. It was a pain. It was also kind of worth it because we made a lot of cool stuff with it. But it was also a pain, and I don't think I would do it again like that. It was pain, okay?
I find it funny how we went in a little rowboat and went underneath the bridge and we all died.
That was an amphibious armored car, APC.
Oh,
And I forgot that the coastal gun was active.
I was gonna go in the rowboat or something. I was following you. No,
you were driving. Because remember, we were coming behind the artillery guns, and we were going to overwhelm them. And I told you to go forward, not realizing that the coastal defense AI was active and blew us out of the water in the most entertaining way possible. If we had just stopped, we would have had a chance to wipe out some artillery gun crews. That would have been a lot of fun. Yes, there's artillery in this game as well. They're intense. You will die to artillery in the end game more than anything else, let me tell you. It's intense.
I find it funny, like, I was going on a run with some of the guys online, and we all jumped in a rowboat together. We crossed waters. Then something happened, and they're all gone, and I'm in the water.
And she was like, yep. That's what lag will do to you.
I just swam to the closest rowboat that had, like, barely any fuel.
That's right, I picked you up. I remember this. I saved you.
It's like, what?
Good times. Yes, this is how we sell the game. I approve. But yes, Arrowhead, if you're listening, we should do a whole thing on helicopters and why they should be included. I could even
be like medical
bring the
stuff.
Design. Yeah.
I mean, medical.
I think airships make sense before this, but it would also be cool to have these.
Well, airships go before anything in your mind.
They just,
in your world.
Like, look, all the systems are there, okay? They have the submarine mechanics, which okay.
Sink and drop.
So if you don't know, right, submarines and airships have a lot in common. They work on similar principles. Just remember that the air is technically really
thinner water.
Yes, really, actually, exactly that.
I know.
Gas is just really thin water. So if you make your ship lighter than air, it floats just like a ship does on the water. So they have all the mechanics there. They just need to put it in the air.
Can you just haiku? All the mechanics there.
Accidentally.
Just think you put it in the air.
Look at that.
Because that just ain't fair.
Cruel.
And now you have no hair.
You just had to one-up me on that one. That was pretty good, though. I can't deny. Did we already use the word care?
If so, I don't care.
Stop it. That was mine.
Mercenary.
Rosie's very disturbed by your insults. Okay. Sad over there. But
insults made with love.
Yeah. I think airships are more likely, not just because I like airships, but because they have all the mechanics involved and it fits the world really easily. We need to convince them.
Fits the
the airships fit the world. They just look around. You look at the aesthetics, airships just match. We have to convince them.
I should have gotten you a helium balloon for your birthday. I'm sorry.
As I was going to say, helicopters are going to be a harder sell since the only, ones that were used in war weren't to the Vietnam War, really. Right? You were saying? Yeah. A little bit in the Korean War, but not as much. Yeah. And so... but they could work, and we need to convince them of it, because helicopters would be cool. And I recommend it. And I even see how you could balance them out with the airships. The airships would be bigger, long-lasting. You could have a helicopter coming out of an airship. Gyrocopter airship carrier. Mm-hmm. I could just see the image now of like 20 players flying out with these little gyrocopters with bombs or guns
with
going.
the 18 music going on.
Da, 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 da. You know,
where's Murdoch spinning the?
Don't tempt them. Like the amount of times I've run into a battlefield with people dying everywhere and music playing is hilarious. The music choices are also fascinating. I remember one time we were in armored cars charging the front, and they turned on the Halo music, the exact theme, you know, when you're first getting in the Warthog, and then we ran into a tank and were instantly annihilated. Funny, when I first played Legendary in Halo, that's also what happened, except for the tank bit. I believe it was a hunter. However, woo, yeah. Oh no,
it actually grabs pretty.
Anyway. Ooh, I came up with new novel ideas today, or possibly game ideas. Oh, so many things to do.
Looking at the mountain ranges.
No, we remember the PBR boat idea. Patrol boats. Oh, okay.
It just cracks me over.
PBR. Yeah, I always thought it was like PB&J. I'm like, well, what's a PB&J boat? Sounds delicious.
Don't want to be caught in the middle.
If you don't know, in Vietnam, they had these super patrol boats with all these guns and dudes on them that would just go up and down the river trying to find Viet Cong and often get ambushed. Though they were ambushed by aliens at least once, or, well, unidentified objects at least once, hilariously enough. They saw all these weird lights. They were following them. They shot them, and then they were like attacked by them. And they were harassed and shot, and it was a whole event. Pretty interesting.
Whose first thought is when they see a weird light, go follow it?
No, the light followed them.
Oh shit!
And they felt intimidated enough. They shot at it, and then it did weird things. They shot more, and they ran, and they eventually escaped. But it was pretty hairy. Dude, you should look up the crazy stories that came out of Nam. Everything from snakes so big that they create jungle trails, to, I mean, the more well-known rock apes, which are just, you know, smaller, big footsies, but are resistant to gunfire, to crazy lizard humanoid things that wore clothes and did. Wait, that story was crazy. Again, probably the wrong stream.
If you're in Vietnam vet, you better make sure it wasn't one of them.
That one in his was like, this was like they found a bunch of dead Viet Cong, as I understood the story, and then they were doing some recon, and they found this cave, and two humanoid lizard men thing come out dressed in cloaks, like, you know, like wizard cloak type things, like in the back. And they were very confused by their presence. They were trying to decide if they should shoot. Hilariously enough, a lot of weird stories in Vietnam kind of go along with, okay, these dudes were in the jungle, they were doing some stuff, they were looking for the enemy, and then something weird popped up, and their first thought was shoot it. I've never been more proud to, well, I'm not American, I'm Californian, but, you know, been involved with the American zeitgeist. Then we see something creepy and weird. The first thought is, I'm going to shoot it. So, anyway, in this case, the weird lizard men made threatening gestures and made like some weird, like, Felis, a prudent response to the unknown, a wise one. In this case, the lizard men did something that made them like sick. Like some of them started to puke. Like they did this weird spell towards them with sticks, and they responded with, "We're gonna murder you, mother truckers!" and opened up with all their guns. The lizard men didn't die, but were injured and ran into the caves. The GIs then were rumored to go, "We could chase these things into this murderous cave with their weird spells and eyes, or we could just blow up the cave."
Did they blow up the cave?
They blew up the cave. I like those guys. See, I don't really like boomers, but those boomers weren't bad. They had the right idea. Creepy thing runs into cave, blow up cave, problem solved. Move on. Now, interestingly enough, as much as I dislike boomers, I am fascinated by the Vietnam War. Just the era fascinates me for a numerous amount of reasons. Some of it is just the visuals, like from a like an art perspective. You have this. You still have a lot of the World War II aesthetics, but you have this new like space age, new technology thing being slapped on top of everything. Like you'll have a guy with an M16, and all this stuff, and then next to him will be a guy with like an M14. There's like these visual styles that blow my mind, and just starting into space age race and stuff. It creates a great design language for any video game or property you want to make. And they have just enough technology to do a lot of stuff. But big butt, little butt, small butt. I have several video games in my head bouncing around. But anyway, the PBR boats. So we were going along the lake, and I had the idea because these guys have made the gun trucks. So if you don't know, in Vietnam, the drivers who were convoying were getting ambushed so much that they decided to just start slapping armored plates and things to their trucks, and machine guns and even miniguns and flamethrowers and stuff. They just started slapping guns and dudes on their trucks. And it became a thing, like the gun truck escorts. Their whole thing was an ambush would happen, they'd rush into the kill zone and start murdering everything. And where was I going? Anyway, some of the gun truck drivers made trucks. Like they bought old trucks from the era and remade their old gun trucks and bring them to parades and stuff as like a remodel thing, complete with like I saw one demonstration where they slapped flamethrowers on it, and for the crowd they like lit a bunch of stuff on fire. It was really cool. And I was just thinking to myself, so that means if I get near a lake, I could potentially, legally, and with a good excuse, have patrol boats for reenactment reasons with quad 50 caliber machine guns on them in a mudwater situation, and potentially a bigger, say, HQ boat with drones for footage reasons as the collapse of the empire happened, right? And you see where I'm going. That also would be a fun video game, especially like I thought zombie apocalypse would be kind of fun with it, or just collapse of the empire with PBR boats on the rivers with lots of guns and flamethrowers. Also, Foxhole needs PBR boats. They have gunboats, which kind of work like that, but not. I want more machine guns. All right, I've been gabbing, but it was fun. I'm pretty sure we lost our gains because it's like late. 4 a.m. for him now, that poor man. But you guys are awesome. Thanks for showing up. Check out Marvel Rivals, a lot of fun. Check out Foxhole, a lot of fun. And start thinking up, if you're inclined, your own board game models using more board games, using your game design skills, and then add in the 3D printing to
either metal or whatever material.
Well, metal's not ready because it would be
it's not, but you could think about it
when the time comes. But for now, right? Now that the big boys are dying off, is the time to replace them. And you can use things like 3D printing to make physical board game stuff here in the States, avoiding tariffs.
Tarifs.
Subscriptions are the key. Okay. Anyway, there's a whole live stream about it. You should listen to it. You guys are awesome. We stream.
When we stream.
But we did it right this time. We're supposed to stream, and we're working on keeping that up on Fridays at usually around 10 p.m. I'm going to try to make that a little earlier, but Friday nights.
We're supposed to stream on Monday.
We're getting to that.
Friday, Monday.
And then then Saturdays are supposed to be our creepy podcast. I have one recorded
You just
not
gotta edit
uploaded. I'll have to try to do that tomorrow. Oh, I hope I can get that up tomorrow on time. Usually released at 5:00 on Saturdays. We're a little behind on those. Just a little bit. And then Sundays we used to, and I'm going to get back into dropping Sunday school lessons. And then Mondays we go over the Monday school lessons with a stream, usually about the same time. We're going to try to get back to our old schedule, back to our original programming through time and effort and grit, as the annoying boomer says, and lack of sleep. And occasionally throwing the dog at my wife because it's funny.
I throw the cat at you.
It's true. It's just animals being thrown at. Anyway, show up for these things. It may take a couple of weeks, but we'll be finally get back in the groove and keep producing. Because we like you guys and we have a lot of fun doing this, to be honest. And yeah. Also, I needed an excuse.
I just realized our wedding pictures right behind us.
Oh, can't really see it though.
No.
And I just, I bought a new computer. I need to do stuff with it. So eventually, I want to make a video game dev production log type. It'll be fun. The problem is I have a lot of different video games. I tried making one a little while back. I might go back to trying to make that one because I was really inspired by the desert and the lake. It was really pretty. And I want to make a video game with that kind of thing going on.
She had me take photos and was not expecting how many photos.
She took way too many photos, but that's okay. I can work with it. Basically, the idea back in the day was to create a medieval Helldivers type game with flying castles instead of ships.
You know why you take so many photos, especially in a moving vehicle?
Because
hoping you get a few good ones.
She made some good ones too. Anyway, because many things in life, especially in game design, just become cool and better if you change your setting a little bit. So they did this back in the day, making Age of Empires into Star Wars. Like Star Wars Age of Empires worked great. Battlefield Star Wars worked great back in the day. Likewise, making something that's sci-fi into fantasy medieval is always a good time. Or the other way around. Just got to get creative with how things work.
So when your new computer gets here, we stream on the new one or the old?
Depends if we get a webcam.
We have one.
We
bought one
get
a while
your
ago.
new computer, we should probably switch to that one because it'll probably have a webcam because you want to get a laptop. Remember?
Oh yeah, you're right.
Anyway, you guys are awesome. We're gonna get off now. That was a really long outro. And I don't know why it's suddenly awkward and long. But hey, good times. Everyone,
next stream.
Don't forget to laugh at the fact that losing access to slave labor destroyed the woke. And make good video games, board games, and everything else. We'll see you on the next one. Where's the button? There's the button.